Hi there, welcome to my hobby bench. My name is Ken, and this is Terminator Tuesday. Alright, in this episode we'll be covering issues 37, 38, 39, and 40. The parts for issue 37 include another vertebrae part. We have a vertebrae, this is a cage joint shaft. We have these two parts here, which make up a ball joint. We have some screws here with some nuts. It's 6mm screws. And then we have a 3x6mm screw. All right, for the first step of issue 37 here, we're going to create our ball joint, and we're going to attach it on the shaft here. So you can see this side has a hole that goes deep inside where our screw is going to go, and it's going to meet up with this screw part here. You can see that this one here is really wide, allows for capture of the screw stud here. So when it's in there, it'll be like that. But we need to do it on this shaft here. So we'll take the one side here, and then we'll take the other side here. Just like that. We'll take our 3mm by 6mm screw. Now all these parts here are not metallic, they're all plastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my PH0 screwdriver and then just insert the screw down in there and tighten it in, just like that. There we have our part. Next, we're going to take our vertebrae part here from the previous issue, and we're going to insert this cap into it, like that. Then we take our vertebrae frame part, and again, like before, we can get these into place with, we have 2 pins and a place for a screw hole. So we'll take that and put it into place. Just like that. And we have our 2 nuts and our 2 screws that we can use. Now remember, we have that tip from Todd in the previous issue where you take your nut, put it on top of your screwdriver, or sorry, on top of your toothpick, put that into place like that, and then you can just hold the nut into place and pull your toothpick out. Just like that. There you go. Now we're going to, this being all metal here, we're going to be using our 3-in-1 oil. And I will be using a screwdriver, the PH0. So we have our first screw going in. Now here we have our second screw going in. Just like that. And there we have it. So here we have our parts that were recreated for issue 37. So let's move on to issue 38. All right, here we are with issue 38. So a lot of it will look familiar as we had just finished doing these parts again in issue 37. Additionally, we have a vertebrae shaft right here, and then we have 2 3x6mm screws. So like before, we're going to start with our making our ball here. So we'll Just insert that like this. Take your other half, joining the two, taking one of our 3x6mm screws. Again, this is all plastic, no oil is required. I'll be using a pH0 screw driver and just tighten this into place. There we go. Careful not to over tighten, as it is all plastic. Carrying on here, now we have our vertebrae assembly here that we created earlier. This one has the raised like tower-like structure here, whereas the other one does not have that. So we are using this one here, and we're using this shaft here they gave us. Now it does have a smaller end that has the two flat ends flattened, whereas the other side does not. So this will go into here like that. Then we'll take a 3x6mm screw, taking my pH0 screwdriver and using a little of my 3-in-1 oil because this is all metallic parts. Just take our screwdriver and insert the screw in there and tighten it into place. Just like that. Alright, that's it for issue 38. Really short. Let's move on to issue 39. Okay, here we are for issue 39. In issue 39, the parts we have are a cage shoulder connection. We have two of our joint caps. We have a couple of braces. We have some washers, two 16mm bolts, and two M3 nuts. Alright, so we're going to take our joint connector and our two inserts here. They attach much like the other ones we've been using. Todd did say he didn't feel they needed glue for his, but I'm going to put a little glue on mine. I can just come in here. Just put a little dab of glue on each of these little raised detail parts. I guess they're not really detail parts, they're just raised areas here. And we'll just rotate that till it clicks into place, just like that. Carrying on with the second one. Again, just a little bit of CA on each of these little pieces. There we go. And just like that, snaps into place. So next we need to flip this over, and we need to take two of our washers and put one in each of these holes. There we go. There's one. And there's two. Then we take our two nuts and we make sure that they are facing upwards, so the rounded part on them is going to be facing up towards us, and we just place them in each of these holes. Just like that. Now we'll prepare our two screws here by giving each one a washer. Now we're going to take our right arm assembly that we had done earlier, and you can tell it's got the square panel detail here with this added part here. And we're going to take one of our screws here and just drop it in like that. Now Todd did mention he had an issue with the screw fitting in with the washer on it, and he had to use a set of needle nose pliers to get the washer to compress enough to go down into the hole. So just keep that in mind. So next we're going to take our connector part here, and you can see here I've got it still set up with the nuts and the washers in them, and then we have this side here with its screw, and we just insert it like that, and then using our with a pH 0 screwdriver, I'm going to screw that into place just like that. There we have it. All right, next we can take and do the same thing with our other shoulder. So we'll take and insert our screw and washer into place, just like that. And we can take our screwdriver and secure it into place. Now I'll just make sure each one is tightened up. Just like that. And then we have that assembly. Alright, so that's it for issue 39. However, Todd and his has his arm on, so I may have missed a stage that I didn't see. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my 2mm hex driver and just taking this hex bolt out, just like that, pulling out the pin and inserting the arm. Just like that. I can put the pin back through. Now, got to remember there are flat sides. You got to match them up. There we go. Just like that. Take my plate like that. Again with the flat sides. Drops in. Hex bolt. Drops in, and we can just tighten it into place. So there we have our arm attached. So let's move on to the next stage. All right, here we are with issue 40. This is the parts that we get for the issue 40. We have two struts. We have our socket liner here, 2 parts. We have a cage base for the spine. Then we have 6 3mm by 2 screws. We have 4 nuts. And we have 5 3mm or 3 by 6mm screws. All right, we'll start our build. We have our 2 struts here. Now note that they both, again, like previously, have 2 flattened sides on one end, but not the other. And that goes for this one as well. So what we're going to do is take these, and they'll be inserted into this vertebrae frame that we have been working on. This is the one that had the previous one put on it. So there we have the 2 like that. Then we can flip this over and insert 2 of our 3mm screws in there. Now these will be the 3 by 6mm screws. And again, it's all metal, so I'm going to be using my 3-in-1 oil, and this will be using the pH 0 screwdriver. So we just put that in there and attach this bracket to the strut. There's one. And here goes the second one. Just like that. Alright, so the instructions recommend we only put one nut in at a time. So we're going to use one nut here. Again, inserting it with my toothpick, as per last episode Todd had recommended. So just like that. Then we're going to take our base here and put it underneath, so that you see we have our two pins are going to go into these two center holes here, like that. Then we can just turn this over and take one of our 2x6mm screws to insert this. So for these, I'm going to be using a PH00 screwdriver, and again, it's all metal, so I will be using 3-in-1 oil. Now we can go back and add our remaining screws, just the same. Alright, so there's our fourth one going in, just like that. So we have all four holding that piece in place. Next, we're going to take our two frames from the previous episode. Now these are both the same, so it doesn't really matter, and we're just going to insert them there, like that. Simple as can be. Next, we're going to take one of our socket liners and we're going to insert it in here where our socket goes, like that. So next, what we're going to do is attach our shoulders. So what we have here is our arm and shoulder mechanism. We're going to insert this shaft here through this hole here, just like that. Do make sure that it goes all the way through. It should be protruding a little bit through, like that. Next, we're going to follow up with our two sockets we created in our earlier issues. So we can just put them into place here and here, like that. Next, we're going to take our head, and you can see we have our neck here, and we're going to insert it into place right there. Just like that. Now we're going to take this next assembly here that we had created earlier. We're going to take and we're going to insert our sleeve right into there, like that. And then we can turn it over and fit it into place. There we go. To get this attached properly, we're going to take our three 3x6mm screws. We're going to make sure that these all line up with these points here, here, and here, so that we can screw this into place. So I'm using my PH0 screwdriver and a little bit of 3-in-1 oil, because these are metal going into metal. That's one. I'll come back and tighten it a little bit more. There's the second one going in. Flip this around so I can see it a little bit better. There we go. So in order to actually make this push down far enough, you have to make sure you have these pins in place. I wasn't doing that, so make sure you keep an eye on that. and that actually made it a lot easier. You can see this is tightened down. We'll come back, we'll tighten the other screws down, make sure they're nice and secure. Just like that. So here we have it. Finally, we're going to take our 2 remaining screws and insert them here and here. These are 2 by 6 millimeter screws going into metal. So 3-in-1 oil. I know it's getting a little harder for you guys to see, but he is getting pretty big now. There we have it. All tightened in, just like that. So here we have our Terminator built up to this stage at the end of stage 40. I don't have any loose parts anymore. It's just strictly the whole Terminator himself built up to this point. So I hope you really enjoyed watching. You guys take care. We'll see you next time. And remember,
I'll be back.